All right. All right, the time is now 12 p.m. We will call this meeting of the Economic Development Corporation to order. Please stand for the invocation and pledge. Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this opportunity to gather today together to do business on behalf of Copper's Cove, Lord. I pray that you would be with us during this time, help us to make good decisions for the benefit of our constituents and for the community as a whole. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge one state, under God, one and indivisible. All right, give a roll call, please.
J.C. Stubbs.
Here.
Brady Diaz.
Here.
Ted Gonzalez.
Here.
David McPhail.
Here.
Anthony Martinez.
Here.
Fred Chavez.
Here.
Fred Welch.
Here.
Sean Stevens.
Here.
Sheena Tanner. Barbara Buar-Wells. I don't know if
She is
she's-
coming in remotely. I don't know if she's on yet. but,
Okay.
We may check on that in a second.
Okay. Any announcements?
I think we'll cover a couple, probably during our reports. Just reminding the board, we've got a pop-up event coming next month, June 15th. And it's a combination, but it's a regional hiring event held with the Veteran Service Office out of Fort Cavazos in July. So we'll have more on that later.
Okay. Moving on to Citizens Forum. At this time, citizens will be allowed to speak on any matter other than personnel matters, matters under litigation, or matters on the regular agenda for a length of time not to exceed 5 minutes per person. 30 minutes total has been allotted for this section. Do we have anyone for Citizens Forum? Not having anyone, we will move on to the consent agenda. All matters listed under this item are considered to be routine by the EDC Board of Directors and will be enacted by one motion. There will not be a separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. Item F1, consideration and action on approval of minutes for the regular meeting held on April 24th, 2024. Brittany Sanders is not here, so who's covering that?
That will be Miss Ann.
Guys, working my mic here. Okay, minutes are right here.
Any questions on the
Any
minutes?
questions or changes to the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
We have a motion from Brady. I will second.
Jason.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Do not have any public hearings today. We will move on to action items. Item H1, consideration and action on approving the profit and loss report for March 2024. Fred Welch.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There was an error in the agenda packet that was sent out to you, and we did update the March profit and loss statement in our year-to-date. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but the original reports did not have all of our, well, didn't have any of our marketing expenses. So if we look at the profit and loss in front of you for March, you'll show that there was total revenue for the month of about $129,579. Of that, $92,888 was from sales tax. The rest was interest earnings. Expenses for the month were approximately $81,248, excluding capital expenses. So for the month, we were under revenue, basically a little bit ahead of budget. And I'm trying to remember, on that capital expenses, there were some incidental things related to the engineering and service fees, so there wasn't a lot in there. So we ended up with net ordinary income for the month of about $27,000. I have Year-to-date, January through March, again, revenue over expenses and against our budget, and certainly we're doing quite well on that at this point in time. We're ahead on sales tax revenue. We had budgeted about $550,000. We're at about $623,000 in revenue, just to let you know, year-to-date. And at this point, we're in pretty good shape. There may be some adjustments that we'll make in June and July per our guidelines, and really cities, as long as we are within $50,000 of where we are on the budget, we can do that internally. If in June we see there's something different, we'll get back to the board. So subject to your questions, we're really looking at the March income statement at this point.
Any questions? What is the desire of the board?
I'll make a motion to approve the profit and loss report for March 2024.
Okay, we have a motion from Brady. Do we have a second? Second. Second from Ted, I think, or Ted? It was a tie. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
One other point, we have a certificate deposit that will come to maturity next month with Cadence Bank. Our intent there would be to, I guess what we call it, redeem that CD, put it into the operating account, because we should hopefully be about finished with Constitution Drive, and there should be enough with a little extra in that CD to take care of that.
Okay, thank you, Fred. Item H2, consideration and action on approving resolution EDC 2024-04, accepting the quarterly investment report as presented for the quarter ending March 31, 2024, per the investment policy. Fred Welch.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As part of our Investment Funds Act, we are required to present the investment report. Our investments are very liquid. Our operating account, our certificates of deposit, and the majority of our funds in tax pool. In the agenda packet, up on the board, you can see where we were as of September 30th, and as of March 31st, our deposits in the operating account were at about $2.1 million. There was some money that was taken out for Constitution Drive that was reflected in the statement you just looked at. Tax pool is remaining very steady, and their income off of that is about a little over 5.1, 5.2%. And our CDs are a mixed bag because of when they were renewed. But all in all, as I say, things are very liquid, and we are in pretty good shape with our reserves and so forth. There is a resolution, EDC 24-04, that needs to be entered into the record at this time if someone would like to do that. Chapter 2256 of the Texas Government Code, commonly known as the Public Funds Investment Act, requires the investment officer of the EDC to present a written report of investment transactions for all economic development corporations' accounts covered for the preceding reporting period. Whereas this reporting is authorized by the Public Funds Investment Act, and whereas the Public Funds Investment Act requires this investment report to be presented, the attached investment report has been presented. Now be it resolved, the Copperas Cove Economic Development Corporation has complied with the requirements of the Public Funds Investment Act and the quarterly investment report for the quarter ending March 2024, attached hereto as Exhibit A, is hereby hopefully approved as the quarterly investment report for the quarter ending March 31st, 2024 of the corporation, effective this date, May 22nd, 2024. Would ask for someone to enter that into.
I'll make a motion that the board approve resolution EDC 2024-04, accepting the quarterly investment report as presented.
I have a motion from Brady. Do we have a second? Second from David. No tie this time. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item H3, discussion and direction on the proposed budget for fiscal year 2024-2025. Fred Welk.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is, I say, is a discussion item, really looking for direction from the board. We have put a preliminary budget together, and it was presented in the agenda packet presented. I'll try to be very brief here, but we project about a 3% increase in sales tax next year, which would take potentially our operating income to about $1.13 million. Because we will be paying down for the potential purchase of some property relative to our grant with the Economic Development Administration and other activities relative to that EDA grant for the match, we suspect our interest income will be probably closer to $220,000 next year based on where tax pool currently is. And we also anticipate sometime after January, those interest rates will begin to drop back a little bit. That being said, we are looking at a operating budget that would be about $1.03 million. I would going to the salary increases, those are relative to bringing Ann on full-time. Also, some adjustments we'll be making probably relative to job positions and classifications and a cost of living adjustment in October. The other expenses that are projected in this year's budget that we probably won't see next year, we're splitting the cost of that strategic plan. A little over half of it this year is in this year's budget, and the balance, about $55,000, will come out of next year's budget. I can answer any specific questions that the board might have at this point. I think in terms of capital expenses next year, we are still looking at the possibility of whatever may happen with the land exchange with that 300-plus acres that has been in the breadbox there with Fort Cavazos since 2018. And then I have not really factored in there the repurchase of that potential property that we have discussed in executive session, because that would come out of this year's funds if we did that. And that would be where we'd probably have a budget amendment. So kind of where we are, just looking for questions, answers.
I have a few.
Yes, ma'am.
Just clarification. Some of the line items look like they're coming in over budget, but you didn't budget to compensate for that. So I'm assuming those are one-time expenses for the year. For example, repairs and maintenance, the building, and repairs and maintenance, the facility.
Yes, ma'am. Particularly on the building, we constructed what we call a pony wall in there this year that we didn't have. And also, I'm not sure if that's in the building expense, but we did purchase the audiovisual camera equipment this year that we wouldn't have to next year.
Okay, so in dues and subscription, that projected amount has come down significantly. Are you reclassing something?
It
or
is a
just-
reclassification. I'm really taking a lot of those dues and subscriptions to professional organizations like Texas Economic Development Council and to EDC and putting them into our marketing budget.
Okay, so that leads me to the next one, professional development's going up,
Yes, ma'am.
and then.
And we do have a pretty healthy budget for professional development next year, which that puts attendance at those conferences, also a professional training class for each of the staff members to attend and be a part of.
And so advertising again, higher this year, is going to remain the same as there?
We're going to stay, yeah, I think we'll stay pretty close with that,
Okay.
yes.
And then land exchange, we don't have anything,
We don't have anything in the budget on the land exchange. We're, as I say, I put $2 million in the capital account, even though it says new business park study. We were completing an appraisal of that property, which should be done the end of June, 1st of July. And we are looking at other avenues where we might be able to provide something of value to the military, would be the way to describe that with Fort Cavazos. as opposed to just an outright exchange of property.
Okay, so no dollar amount is needed
Yes,
there?
ma'am.
Okay, those are all my questions.
Any other questions?
Just, as I say, I'm looking for direction, process and procedure. We would take this proposed budget to the board in the month of June for approval. It then gets rolled into the city's operating budget in their adoption process, which they, I believe it's in July, Ryan, that our budgets would be presented to the council. It then goes out as part of that approval process for the public hearings in the month of August for adoption by the city and so forth. We are a component of that budget with the city.
So are you looking for an approval of the proposed budget, or just you wanted input right now and then it's gonna bring?
Today, we didn't really request any action. We were just wanting to have discussion, answer your questions. If there's anything that differs, I will get back with the board here between now and our June meeting, and then we will, subject to consensus of the board, we put it up for approval. If we've got to make some radical changes, we need to make it now so that we can approve the budget next month.
Any other discussion? Okay.
You want any of that?
All right. We'll move on to reports from staff, outside entities, advisory committees, and boards. Item I-1, Executive Director's Report, Fred Welch.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It seems like I've been more involved with trying to get out of school with kids this month, but the staff was a part of the Keep Copper's Cove beautiful volunteer appreciation event. I'll get that. That was held last month. Also, I know there was a Meet the Consultant event and that should be Southern Economic Development Council in Atlanta that I was at for 2 days, along with a reception for some of the graduates at Texas A&M Central. Did not make the CTC graduation, but I think there were other things going on. On the project report, our EDA grant literally has been approved. We're just waiting confirmation back, the paperwork that has to run with that, which probably over the next 45 days will take place. We have resubmitted the rail study grant for the 2018 study. I received word actually this morning that between now and June 11th, the review committee should take action on that. And so hopefully next month we'll have some good news to report back to the board on that. Concurrently, we're working with an infrastructure grant under what's called the Defense Communities Infrastructure Program, where we'll be assembling information from Fort Cavazos, TxDOT, the city, and the EDC to submit June 17th for funding for the ramps that would go off of State Highway 9 onto Tank Destroyer Boulevard. So we're actually meeting next week on that, and then we'll meet again early June before we submit the grant application. On the Hometown Heroes project, we are in a funding situation with the VA, and we can discuss some of that in executive session today. Haven't beyond contact with the owner on the repurchase of that land. I'll be getting back onto that late this week and after Memorial Day holiday. Time has just been on other functions. We're looking good, and I think staff will report out on some marketing events that are coming up in June and July. I will say the website is up, it's running, it's live, and we'll be happy to walk anybody through that, along with a program called Size Up. And we may set up a little 5-minute demonstration of both of those during the June meeting, because it looked really good. Just advisory board, you won't have to put up with me between June 4th and June 10th. I'll be in Florida with the grandkids, but other than that, I should be in the neighborhood.
Any questions for Fred?
I have a comment on item 1C on your report, Fred. On behalf of the university president, Dr. Rhodes, thank you and Ms. Sheena Tanner for attending that and representing the CCEDC on the graduation mixer. Also, as a board member of the Alumni Association and transparency from the TAMU City side, we are looking at Ms. Sheena Tanner to be a liaison for the association and the CCEDC so to support our plan to retain talents for the local talents that we have here per our discussion on the last
Very good.
retreat that we had, the board retreat. Okay? And of course, that is subject to the cordial agreement with Ms. Sheena Tanner after my vice president reaches out to you. Thank you again.
She's got a little spare time, but
All right, any other questions? Moving on to item I2, Marketing Director's Report, Sheena Tanner.
Thank you. To start off with, we had our job fair press release covered in Cove Leader Press, so that was great. I'll be putting out another press release for the restaurant roundtables that will be going out this week. Like Fred was saying, our website was launched on April 30th. I have not announced it yet because I consider it kind of a soft launch. We're adjusting a few pages still. One of them being Size Up, which Fred mentioned. When we did the training with Size Up, where the website designers put the embed codes, it's a little confusing to try to get to them. So what we're going to do is create designated pages for those embeds specifically so that they're easier for our clients to find. So I'm currently working on that, and once those get their own pages, we'll be hosting another training that will be open to local businesses, community members, you all, to learn how to use the platform. It's a really great data resource. Late April and early May, I went to my second session of EDI, which I took 2 courses, each being 2 full days, entrepreneurship and small business, and BRE. So I learned a ton about how to better support Sean's programs and the entrepreneurship program in my marketing efforts. So that was really exciting. I also networked with someone that works with the College Station EDC, and she has already done the Film Friendly program, which I gave each of y'all one of the flyers that they gave out, which leads me into the next thing. May 16th through 17th, I attended the Texas Film Friendly Forum. As a recap, this was a project that was very first started by the city. Kevin Keller was going to do it from the city side. We took over it last year before Diane left. She and I attended the Film Friendly certification workshop online. This forum, I chose to attend the Digital Media Friendly workshop, which is required for that designation. We actually meet the requirements for that designation based on our population, so that one will be easy for me to go ahead and get first. Film Friendly will be a little bit more entailed. We have to, like the flyer says, we have to establish a basic agreement that companies will use in order to film here. So I will be having to work more with the departments, with the city, to see what things will cost and that sort of thing, what requirements they want the film production companies to agree to, that sort of thing. Have our lawyers look, the city lawyer look over it, take it to city council, have them approve it. So that's a bigger process. But I'm excited about it because it's a really cool program. The Digital Media Friendly designation, that is a brand new program that the Office of the Governor started through the Film Commission. So it's the same department, it's just another brand new program. It focuses on digital media, animation, video games, and virtual production. It's really neat for us to consider, even though we're not super technologically advanced yet. It's really cool for cities our size to start concentrating on it and potentially building that. So the purpose of the program is meant to show digital media stakeholders that your community is not just interested and able to attract their business, but that it is forward-thinking community a step ahead of the rest. And I think that's where we can use this program to start looking towards the future and to start bringing in these more tech-based businesses, especially with A&M's program and that growing. So I think it'll go together really well. So I'm excited about it. Okay. Other workshops, there included marketing your community as film friendly, which was super helpful to me, identifying incentives, which we have access to state incentives that we can show these film producers if they want to come in and work here. Making the most of your certification, and a discussion on community-based film festivals, which was also really exciting. I think that would be neat to try to bring here. So I'm kind of brainstorming that as far as getting local businesses involved in potentially doing that in the future. Let me see. 5 marketing consults were facilitated this past month. I helped with social media, websites, visibility, and lead generation. A quick social media update. Facebook followers are up another 5.6%. Our page impressions are up to 22,000. LinkedIn is slowly growing, another 1.2%, and impressions are currently at 1,570. Email is up 25 contacts, up to 704 with a 56% overall open rate, still very good there. Upcoming marketing projects, we've received the finished photo collection from Viking Films. They've been used on the website, and I have started creating content for them. So they look really good, and it's local places, so I'm excited to use them in our content. I will be continuing the online campaigns for Shop Cove, helping with that, and the restaurant roundtables, and the Higher Cove Career Fair. June, and for the final quarter of the year, I will be focusing on the film-friendly and digital media certifications, getting that rolled out. The new quality of life campaign that I have planned, and building content for the website to improve SEO and for aiding in building up LinkedIn. I also put up there the site selection magazine that we had our ad in. I told you I would bring it, so it's up there. I don't know if y'all passed it around. But that is my update. So any questions?
I think it's on page 98, Fred, if you look it up there.
Yes.
Any questions for Sheena? All right, thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
Item I3, Workforce Development Specialist Report, Brittany Sanders.
I am going to give Brittany's report. It'll be very brief. I just want to report on her work towards the Copperas Cove Regional Career Fair at the Civic Center on July 17th. She's been working with her contacts at Texas Veterans Commission and Workforce Solutions. So she has 36 confirmed employers with a max of 55. So we're still about 2 months out. She's starting her soft launch, and then we'll hit the marketing pretty hard as we get closer. She's also planning on having interview areas in the Civic Center and offering resume help for her job seekers too. So if y'all on the board have any employers that might be interested, please feel free to contact Brittany. Thank you.
Thank you, Ann. Item I4, Senior Director, BRE Report, Sean Stevens.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Board. As you recall, we launched our first restaurant roundtable meeting. We had it April 15th, and had light attendance, but several things came out of it. We're planning our next meeting to be Monday, July 15th. Grill Country Barbecue has offered to host it this time, so it'll be at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Out of that first meeting, like I said, a couple things came out of it. One was a desire to have an online community for restaurant owners to share ideas and communicate with each other. So we've launched the Restaurant Owners Facebook group, and CCEDC will be administrating that group. Right now, I think we only have 5 members, but we just started marketing it this week. So hopefully we can build that. Another suggestion that came out of that meeting, and I apologize, there's a typo on my report, it should be April 15th, not May 15th, was a restaurant startup guide. So I reached out to the Texas Restaurant Association to see if they had information that could help us with that. They are working on that, and I hope to have that to share with our restaurant communities by the July 15th meeting. In that conversation with TRA, however, though, they offered a promo code for free registration to the Texas Restaurant Show that will take place July 14th and 15th in San Antonio. So it's the largest kind of vendor exhibition show in Texas for restaurant communities. So we've sent that out to the community and hope that some of them take advantage of that. We've also had some interest in establishing a downtown business association, and in doing some research and things on that, I talked with the city of Mesquite about their downtown revitalization. Through that conversation, I got connected with the Texas Downtown Association, and which we have joined as members. They offer several resources and different things for downtowns. One in particular that we're interested in is a downtown assessment. So they'll bring people in to our town, do that, and we'll get a report at the end of it. And with the strategic plan and different things, I think we're planning to maybe launch that in the fall of this year. I'm also planning on attending their annual conference in October in Abilene. Size Up training has been mentioned a couple times. We hosted the kind of internal stakeholders type training on May 3rd. And we had, in addition to our staff, we had the City of Copperas Cove, the Copperas Cove Chamber, and the Small Business Development Center in attendance. As Sheena mentioned, we're working with Size Up right now to schedule more of a public training. We'll bring the board in, we'll bring some businesses from around the community to show them how to use the program and that. Upcoming events for me, I will be attending the Texas Economic Development Council Mid-Year Conference, June 5th through the 7th. That's in Conroe, Texas. Also attending Select USA Conference. It's a major foreign direct investment conference. Will be June 22nd through the 26th in Washington, D.C. And as I mentioned, the Texas Downtown Association Conference in Abilene in October. Any questions?
All right, any questions for Sean? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Item I5, Special Projects Coordinator Report, Ann Seneca.
That's me. All right, we are coming up, rapidly approaching our Shop Cove Summer Pop-Up Market, the Civic Center, June 15th. Registration is closed. Currently have 43 vendors, a brunch truck, coffee truck. We're going to have 3 raffles. Right now, I'm pushing out our marketing plan with our billboard and individual vendor spotlights on social media. So we have about 445 interested parties to attend. So I think it should be a jam-packed event. Our last pop-up market of the year will be September 21st, and that's going to be an evening market in downtown Copperas Cove, Oktoberfest themed, from 4 to 10 p.m. We have a band scheduled, if I can remember their name. We are in the throes of sponsorship packages, figuring out what we can offer Copperas Cove downtown in the evening for Oktoberfest. So it'll be open registration. We're hoping to use the old Chris Kindle parade route, the T-shaped downtown, so we'd have a larger footprint for our vendors. I'm working on our street closure app right now. On May 25th, there will be a meeting, planning and zoning meeting for consideration to amend the, let me speak on this clearly, Sydney Ordinance Chapter 12.5, alcoholic beverages, to allow the consumption of alcohol on the public right-of-way located in the city's downtown boundary area. So this is very exciting for our city. This is an opportunity for other organizations and clubs to have events downtown. We're hoping to have beer trucks where people can walk around and sample German beer, Stein racing, a yodeling contest, costume contest. It'll put us on the map. So all of that will be announced in the next coming weeks as we close out our June pop-up. I do have sponsorship packages available, so I will be chatting with everyone individually. Also, we are assisting with Oscars Market, our youth entrepreneur vendor market. That will be October 5th. And our Shop Small Business Saturday, which is in the end of November after Black Friday. So those are the things that we're planning now. Does anybody have any questions?
Questions for Ann? Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome.
I'm not sure about the lederhosen, Ann, but other than that, okay.
It's already been ordered, so Amazon.com.
All right. Do we have any items for future agendas? Okay. Moving on to executive session. Item K1 pursuant to 551.072 of the Texas Government Code, the Economic Development Corporation Board will meet in executive session to discuss or deliberate the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property, Narrows Business and Technology Park, Phase 2, Mashburn Drive expansion. Also, item K2 pursuant to 551.072 of the Texas Government Code, the Economic Development Corporation Board will meet in executive session to discuss or deliberate the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property, Project Spring. The time is now 12:36 p.m., and we will enter into executive session. Okay. The time is 1:06 p.m., and we will reconvene into open session. The EDC Board has decided to take no action on items K1 and K2 in executive session. Would like to announce, and Fred would like to make an announcement as part of the strategic planning.
I was going to let JC make the announcement. But
Oh,
anyway,
sorry.
we will be working towards the middle of June to have what we'll just call a kickoff meeting for the strategic plan. And one will be either recruiting or by way of proclamation, we'll get a board member involved as part of our steering committee on this process, JC, if that's possible. Yep. And then we'll put about 4 other folks from the community onto that group. But initially, as a kickoff, I'd like the board to consider like a joint workshop with council on our board. As we go through these goals, we've got a pretty extensive program that mirrors with the city's comprehensive plan, and it I think help address priorities for future for the EDC's plan of work and mirroring with where the city is. We've got a lot of balls in the air right now regarding the downtown district, regarding entrepreneurial development, and I think the more clarity and focus we can give the consultants as they start on this process, it'll help us kind of set our scope, or them set their scope, and us get a good product back. So we'll be contacting you on that. It would probably be an evening meeting, Tuesday, Thursday, and I would guess the initial meeting might take about 2 hours, just to lay it out.
Mr. Chairman, just to let the board know, I'm out of town June 10th through the 14th, so I won't be able to make anything that week.
Thank you. I'm out of town the 4th through the 10th, so that's good, but we'll make it work.
Back half of June.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
All right, any other comments or announcements? All right, time is now 1:08 p.m. We will adjourn this meeting of the Economic Development Corporation. Thank you, everyone.